Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to episode 41. I am your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders. Today we have with us Lenin Srinivasan. He's the founder and CEO at MaaxMarket, which is an all-in-one digital marketing platform designed for small businesses. Max has received the SMB 150 award, which recognizes top 150 IT professionals in the world. He received the prestigious Microsoft MVP award and also the eCell 10-minute million award organized by IIT-B. In terms of business growth, MaaxMarket currently has around 62 paying customers and 745 customers waiting to purchase the product. Currently has $16,000 in monthly recurring revenue within 6 months of starting the company, and they still are in beta, surprisingly. Welcome, Max. Hope the intro was okay, and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Oh, great. Yes. So things have picked up a lot of momentum in the past few months as we are in the process of launching the product.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you mentioned, we do have paying customers who are actively looking forward to some new changes that we are about to release.
Okay.
So it's exciting times because this is the time where we slightly move up from startup phase and move into more active productions because we now have a lot of customers coming in who wants to use the product.
Correct.
And the entire company is like fired up like a factory because everything is picking up a lot of momentum. So it's exciting times, I would say, for the company.
Okay, great. And before we move into business, what are your passions outside of business?
Outside of business, I do use my interest in space research to
Okay.
keep my mind occupied outside of business because there are times where I just look up to the sky, even it's difficult times or even when it is fun times, and I just look into the cosmos and find how insignificant we are all because it's
Correct.
just a small blip in the space.
Correct.
And nothing, no problem is much significant than what is out there already.
Correct.
And it helps me to keep my mind occupied and helps me to spend some time writing some theses or writing some research articles about space and time.
Okay, great. So, what inspired the idea for MaaxMarket?
I used to be working for a company called Waymboo Technologies based out of Dallas, Texas for the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was the president of the company, and I was like traveling worldwide selling IT software for small business. And as part of that process, I was interacting with a lot of small businesses, and I was addressing a lot of keynotes in some trade shows and conferences. There was one key problem that was floating around. Most of the businesses had trouble marketing
Correct.
because they love doing the business, they love what they do. But the problem is, marketing is that part of the company that they hate doing it. So because of which there was a lot of problems. And the other thing was, for marketing, there were a lot of tools available. There are tools available for email marketing, tools available for social media marketing. But as a small business owner, they used to wear multiple hats, and they are not a tools manager, an efficient tools manager. And the funny part about marketing is you have to be consistent with whatever tools you use in order to get the desired results. If you do some campaigns today and tomorrow and expect some big results to happen, it won't happen that way. So they were looking for literally looking for a product that could help them to manage these tools and also have all these tools bundled up into one product. So that is when I thought it clicked. I had to do something about it, and I keep re-emphasizing the fact that life is really short and had to do something about it. And if I need to take a plunge, then this is the right time. So though I had a nice paying job and having a good life. I thought that isn't enough for us to keep going. So I thought I'll make the plunge. I quit my job last year September,
Okay.
and then I just dived directly into creating this product.
Excellent. And what's the vision for the company?
The vision for the company is there has to be marketing that is driven by 100% data intelligence
Yeah.
rather than guts. The problem today of marketing is it's driven by human guts and intuition. So you could literally ask any marketing manager. Let's say there will be a manager who will be sending an email campaign at 10 a.m. on Thursday. If you go to him and ask him, why did you send that campaign 10 a.m. on Thursday? He would have, that's based on my experience, or he would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. True.
that is when I think I'm going to get a lot of visitors clicking my email campaign. But you won't have solid data backing it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we have designed is an artificial intelligence that replaces marketing manager and that can execute campaign by itself.
Oh.
So
Okay.
the grand vision for the company is to create an AI robot that could handle their entire marketing activities. And as a small business owner, you can just interact or talk to it just like how you would talk to any other
Mm-hmm.
intelligent person, saying, how do I grow my business, or what should I do? And you have the answer coming back from the product saying what they should do, and then the product will execute that for on behalf of the business. So
Oh,
that is the grand vision for the company.
excellent. Yeah. Key people to take this project off the ground or make it a reality. I mean, did you do it on your own or you had any co-founders?
Yes, I did have some key people
Mm-hmm.
who helped me make this happen. Like I mentioned, I did quit my job, came back to Chennai, and I
Okay.
did not know how to actually literally take this off. In the sense, I was like, I had this vision, I had the passion, and I didn't even tell my wife that I'm quitting my job. So it was kind of very abrupt. And
Yeah.
I just came to Chennai, wandering the streets, and then I met my long-term friend and co-founder Dileepan,
Okay.
who was he was, I would say, one of the key people, or probably the only person who could have pulled this off at a really short time frame. But like at that point of time, he was having a really nice paying job.
Okay.
He was like he was also really well settled in life, and that was the phase where my job was to go and get people quit their jobs. So I convinced Dilip and I told him that why he has to quit his job and why there is a big opportunity here, and how he could help me make this happen. And he is an experienced programmer and developer,
Okay.
and
So,
I'm a product I'm just a product guy. I
okay.
set the vision for the product,
Correct.
and Dileepan was able to understand the vision that I had, and he was able to quickly get the product off the ground really soon. So he is was very institutional in getting this product out up and running. And we also had the other co-founder Talapati,
Okay.
who was also really helpful in helping me manage uh, getting this project off the ground. And I would say pretty much we are kind of a team of 10 people right
Okay.
now,
Okay.
uh, and uh, um, and we have all the team is awesome, I would say, because they're all like really hardworking, and they don't give me any reasons. And I would say the team that I have assembled together, I would say from Prabhakaran to Shabir and
Mm-hmm.
Ganesh,
Mm-hmm.
Manoj, Tilak, and the entire team that I have assembled today are probably the best team that I would say in order to build this kind of a product that we have, and the vision that we have. And these are all the people responsible for getting this off the ground.
Great. And how did you validate your idea? I mean, did you straight away do a MVP, beta, or how did you test it out with customers?
So we had a basic prototype of the product
Okay.
designed. It was done very quickly. It was done like within 2 to 3 days,
Wow.
and then I posted a blog on why artificial intelligence is the way to go for small business,
Mm-hmm.
and how I ended up starting the company. My story, my journey on how I actually started the company,
Okay.
and that got featured in Hacker News. It literally was on top of Hacker News for
Oh,
4 to 5 hours, and we got about 25,000 visits. And my website crashed, and we had to like recoup the website and try to bring it up and running. And it was hosted on GoDaddy, and GoDaddy said it couldn't support the kind of volume that, and they wanted us to move to dedicated servers. And it was all happening overnight. It was like early morning, 3 o'clock, and we did not know what to do. But finally, we kind of managed to bring the website up and running. And then it got featured in Product Hunt right from Hacker News, and we got another bunch of visits, and the website crashed again. So we had a hard time getting the website up and running.
yeah.
But with the whole process, we got about 600 leads of businesses who said they'd buy the product if we have it available. Like they said, we are on the right track, and they'd be happy to pay for it. So that was our initial validation. And everything after that really took off very quickly, because we have customers expecting something in the product. So we then started making very quick releases and satisfying those customers. And after that, every acquisition that we have made is pretty much word of mouth, and it went viral that way.
Okay, and so what's your customer base? Is it global, or you're concentrating on a certain market or region?
It is global. However, 70% of them are from US, and 20% of them are from Europe, and 10% from Asia Pacific. So
Okay,
that is how it is currently distributed.
okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the artificial intelligence character? I mean, not the deep dive, but just how it works. So
Yeah, yeah. Our AI is called Albie.
okay,
What happens is, typically when you use a marketing product, you have to be there, go in there, and configure everything from the product. Let's say from an email campaign or social media
okay,
campaign. And what a small business wants is not another dashboard or another set of tools, because they now have to sit on those tools and keep scheduling and configuring campaigns, etc. So that is where I thought, why not we introduce a virtual marketing manager, someone that they could actually talk to, right?
okay,
Right now, what we have, so that's where the idea for Albie clicked in. So Albie uses natural language processing, so you could talk to the product just like how you would talk to any other human being,
oh,
and
okay,
you could either chat, you could ask questions in natural language. Hey, Albie, can you schedule an email campaign for me? And Albie is going to come back and say, yes, I could do that. To whom do you want to send it, and when do you plan to sending it? And then you can now suggest a time. And then Albie is going to come back and tell you that whether the time is going to be okay for all of the customers based on the interactions that they have done.
mm-hmm.
So what we have done is we have all these tools bundled up into one product. So Albie has a lot of data. It
Yep,
has
yep,
your website visitor data, email data, and then it has your social media profiles data. So it has more data, and it uses pattern recognition to connect to your CRM to find out where your paying customers are coming from. So it knows what you have to do as a business to get more paying customers. And sometimes it even comes back to you and says, hey, I see that you're getting a lot of customers when you send this kind of an email at this particular time. Can I schedule something for you? You just have to say yes. And Albie goes back and schedules everything and sends the campaign and tells you the result. Okay, I've sent the campaign. And now, after the campaign is done, you now have a 20% jump in revenue. Let's try doing this and see if that impacts your sales. So that is the kind of conversation you now start having with the product, rather than you have to go in and
mm-hmm.
do and click the tools and do that for
Oh,
yourself.
okay.
That,
So
that is what Albie does. Yes.
it's like an automated marketer, somewhat.
Exactly. It is like completely automated, and we even have a mobile app. It's like a Siri where you could just simply go to it and talk and ask questions, natural questions, and you could execute your campaigns that way, rather than you have to be on the product and do it yourself.
So does it also build the templates and all that for you, or that's something you need to do?
That is something where we are focusing on the future. Currently,
Okay,
you
okay,
need to go there and feed the content
okay,
and
got it.
let Albie know what content that you could use in the product.
Mm-hmm.
But that is as part of our R&D project. We are using natural language generation. It's called NLG,
Yep,
and
yeah.
it should be available in about 6 to 8 months of time, where the product will automatically assemble content on behalf of your business.
Okay, and your revenue model is pure play subscription today?
Yes, it's a pure play monthly subscription.
Okay.
Customers pay anywhere between $10 to $500 a month, depending on number of contacts they have in the database.
Okay. So competition, how, I mean, you have the big players like Salesforce, Marketo, and the other
Yeah.
enterprises like MailChimp, for example. I mean, so
Yes.
how are you all still getting your customers? I mean, is it, I mean, I'm sure the other products, these guys don't have any artificial intelligence. I've used most of them. Is that your
Yes.
winning point right now?
Yes. In fact, we are the first company to introduce artificial intelligence on top of marketing. So that has been a
Mm-hmm.
big differentiator. The number two is we have brought all marketing tools into one product. So you don't now have to use MailChimp for marketing, a Buffer or Hootsuite for social media marketing, and then HubSpot for marketing automation. You now have the best of HubSpot, best of Buffer, best of MailChimp, and best of Google Analytics and Omniture bundled up into one product. So you now have all these tools bundled up into one product, which itself makes it a compelling product by itself. But on top of that, having an AI that could help you navigate these tools makes it a stunning differentiator from the other products. And in fact, we ran some comparisons. HubSpot product themselves have an ability to compare the marketing grade of two different companies.
Okay.
So I used HubSpot's product to compare mine versus HubSpot, and HubSpot's product themselves says mine, that is MaaxMarket, is a much better product compared to HubSpot.
Oh,
And I have a
okay.
screenshot. So that turns out to be a much better validation.
Yeah,
So where
definitely.
your competition says that you're better. So
Yeah. In terms of funding, I mean, you won the 10-minute million around for 15 lakhs INR, and then you also have some seed round from Vikram Chandra, and also you were part of a Boomtown incubator, correct? I mean, in terms
yes.
of so this will be all be from Bootstrap to seed. Are you all looking at raising money now?
Yes, we are. But so far we have been bootstrapped end to end because the only funding that was acquired was winning in IITB and also being part of Boomtown. So we I strongly advocated bootstrap model right from day one of the company because that puts the perspective correct for a startup or a company, because now we know how to solve the problem in an innovative way rather than just throwing money at the problem. So we have been a lean startup right from day one. Like we haven't
Mm-hmm.
took any salaries, and the team is kind of pretty much motivated. They used to take some 40% of the market salary, the other team members, but the founders ourselves, we haven't took any salary, and we advocated a lean startup methodology where we are kind of try solve the problem in an innovative way, and we were focusing on getting ourselves paying customers as soon as possible,
Yep.
so that way we could use that revenue to try and start building the business, which we have done so far.
Excellent.
But we
Okay.
will be looking for additional funding from now on in order to scale and start the business. We do have quite a few offers on table right now, but we'll make some decisions down the line, as we are looking for investments that are more strategic to us rather than investments just for the sake of money getting into the company.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. And next steps is still more product refinement.
Yes, there is still more product refinements to come. We are planning to launch the product in a TechCrunch conference in New York in May. So, like I mentioned, the product is still in beta, and but our customers who have tested the product, they loved it, and they said they will pay for it even though while it is in beta. We have about $16,000 in monthly recurring
Oh,
revenue
that's great. Yeah.
already.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, and we haven't even launched it. And by the time when we launch in May, we have about 745 customers who are waiting in the line to buy the product. They are right now using the product, but they want to pay for it. So we will open up the road for all of those customers to come and use the product and buy it and use it
Mm-hmm.
like our any of the regular customers. I think that would be like I'm waiting for that moment to happen.
Great. Great. And moving out of business, I mean, who influenced you most in life? And-
Uh, I would say I had a lot of people who did really influence me to start something on my own. One of the people who did really influence me a lot. His name is Shekhar Vembu. He is the CEO of Vembu Technologies. He did
Okay.
really inspire me a lot, and one of the finest CEOs and businessmen that I've known personally. And yeah, I would say that would be the one of the greatest inspiration for me personally.
Okay. And some of the best advice you've been given.
Yeah, one of the best advices was to bootstrap the company right from day one, and not making yourself prey of getting into the funding cycle and VCs and
Yeah, yeah.
investment.
Very true. Very true.
It is like easy to get yourself solving the problem of funding by getting additional funding, right? You get some funds, you spend, let's say you get $10 million, and you've spent $12 million to get $8 million in revenue, and then you kind of spend more money to get some money, and that becomes like a trend. And I've seen like a lot of startups getting killed by the concept of funding, because they just think that the ultimate goal of starting the company is to get funding. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem, just the opposite. The goal of starting the company is not to just get funding and keep funding yourself to solve the problems from previous funding, right? It is completely, that concept will become obsolete down the line, and that is what is leading to many problems, why many startups are getting killed. The thing is, you have to start a company to create some value to customers, to create some value in the market, where you have to create a demand where people are ready to buy the product, and they'd be happy to spend some money.
Yep.
And your whole goal is to see if you can use that money from customers to refuel your growth. That way
Mm-hmm.
you'll have clear perspective. And when you know that for sure, that okay, as you go through that model, if you know that okay, if I have more capital infusion in the company, I could grow the business 5x or 10x. Like, yes, I have a scalable business
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
That is when you have to go and ask for some funding, rather than requiring funding without knowing why you actually need it, is probably the best advice
Correct.
I have got from day one.
Correct. And during your time at Wembu, I would say, when did you know you were meant for entrepreneurship and not for corporate life?
I think I've known that right from day one, because I joined Weibo in 2008,
Okay.
and I joined it as a sales guy. And right out of college, I was working in some call centers, and then I jumped directly into a software company. And I knew from day one that things were different. It was like, I was a sales guy, but I felt that I took more responsibilities on my shoulder rather than just doing a sales job.
Mm-hmm.
I was then doing support, product management. I did some testing, and whatever it takes to get the company up and running. That seems to be the way I have done things right from day one.
Yep.
So that's where I had this entrepreneurship spirit, and I was like traveling along for quite a long time. But it isn't like entrepreneurship is just like something, a cool idea for me to jump right away into. It meant that I had to have a lot of experience and a lot of emotional stability in order to jump onto this entrepreneurship bandwagon. And that's where I thought I need to have enough experience. And last year, it was the right time, so I made that call, and I jumped right into it.
Yep. Very, very good. Yeah. And I mean, this is your first product, but any in this journey, any low point where you just want to completely give up?
There were pretty much a lot of low points.
Yep.
It was not a fun journey at all. It definitely wasn't, and it
Yeah.
was completely. It was filled with a lot of thorns as we moved down the path, because we are from a society where entrepreneurship is discouraged from everyone,
Very
like your
true.
parents,
Yeah.
your relatives. So the fact that I had a job in US and I quit the job and came to Chennai and wandering in the streets was kind of viewed as though I kind of lost my mind, and people started looking at me differently, because they wouldn't believe, why would you do such a thing? Why would you come here to Chennai and be on the streets to start your new company? And there was a demotivation happening at every level. And now I had 10 more people. I made 10 more people quit the job, and now I have to be responsible for their families and their relatives and their friends who are now working in Infosys and other well-paying jobs. And there was also time where I've put in all the money that I had into company, into hosting, or into whatever it is required. So I kind of quickly ran out of cash. My bank balance was going beyond $0. It started going in negative. It was the first time I saw bank balance going negative for quite a few times. And then I still had my family that was living in Dallas, that was living in US, and they didn't have
Okay.
any money for their living. And then they started getting eviction notices, and they started getting electricity got disconnected, and at one point they even got thrown out of the house. So I have to go back to US and find a motel for them to stay.
Okay.
But I had to endure through all of these uh, hard path in order to create something that I love for. Because the only motivation for me for the product that carried through all these different hurdles. Because if you could imagine, if you could have your a 7-year-old daughter and your wife thrown out of house, not knowing where to stay for the night,
Yeah.
that would be, I would say, the worst thing that could happen
Of
to an
course. Of
entrepreneur.
course. Of
Because
course.
yeah, you are like complete. And now on top of that, you'd have all the relatives and friends calling you and saying, "Why would you do such thing for your family?"
Yeah.
And I don't think you would have a perfect answer at that point of time, right? Because that would probably, I would call it some of the lows, but still, the product and ability to convince others on the
Mm-hmm.
vision for the product and what it could do them for the future. I had to sell everyone on the idea for the company, where everyone had to make an emotional investment into the company.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
what actually that was the path, that was the light at the end of the tunnel for me personally and for everyone in the company. And now I'm happy to say that we now started making revenue and everyone is taking great salaries, and now things are going really great for us. But I had to endure all those pains through the
Yeah.
process of
Yeah.
startup journey
Yeah.
to be where I am today.
True. True. And what would you say is your greatest weakness?
I would say my personal greatest weakness is I'm completely ad hoc. I'm not scheduled at all, in the sense I won't do things in a scheduled way, or I would put it, I won't do things a formal or traditional way. For example, we don't have any designations in the company. No
Okay.
one
Okay.
calls themselves whatever, because as a customer doesn't care who is the CEO or who is the CEO, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just want a great product.
Correct.
I'm a strong advocate of adocracy, and I do things based on my instinct, based on what I feel that moment, rather than planning it for like 10 or 15
Mm-hmm.
years. And I would say that would be my greatest weakness.
Okay. And if someone wants to join your company today, what's the characteristics you would be looking for?
I think I am trying to set a culture, because so far the way we have the company going is we have a really a very friendly environment created, a friendly atmosphere that is created, and people know they kind of own the problems. They have their own ownership, and they go and fix problems by themselves. Like, I don't micromanage anyone, nor I would advocate anyone to micromanage anyone else on my team. And this is completely fun and completely entertaining, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone loves coming to work every day morning, because they simply love what they do. So if someone wants to join MaaxMarket, that is one big quality that I'm expecting: ownership. I don't want people to be treated like slaves, where some manager tells them what to do, they come and do it just for the sake of earning money. That is not what how we have designed the company. You come to a company not to earn, not just to earn money, but to improve your skills and knowledge. And while you do that, you should love what you do,
Yep.
and you should take ownership and solve problems, rather than expecting someone to come back and tell you exactly what to do,
Correct.
right? And you shouldn't expect any bosses, nor you should expect any subordinates for you. That is the kind of characteristics I'm looking
Okay.
for people who
Okay.
are joining.
And at present, today, any new feature or like product launch that's getting you really excited at the present moment?
Yeah, like I mentioned, at the present moment, we have the public launch of the product coming up in
Oh,
May,
yes, correct.
which is happening in New York at a TechCrunch conference.
Okay.
That is in fact the most exciting part, and we are actually building a physical robot to mimic the virtual robot inside the system. So we are engaging a robotics building company who could actually create that Albie character, and we are going to have that robot have conversations with all the people who are coming in for the
Mm-hmm.
conference. And this whole process is kind of pretty
So this is
exciting right
at
now.
Disrupt or Demo Day?
Disrupt.
Okay, Disrupt. Okay. And where do you see yourself and your business say in the next 2 to 3 years?
Um, so we are off to a great start, I would say, because I'm pretty confident based on the pipeline we have built and based on the customers we have got, we would be very quickly reaching the $1 million in revenue, maybe in the next 6 to 8 months,
Excellent.
and we would be making the next big jump in terms of revenue. I would say in 18 months, that would put us in the next year,
Mhm.
and probably the third year we would probably be around $20 million in revenue mark. Would be a very decent sized expectation as a company, and to build something worth, if it is $20 million, typically SaaS companies are valued at 15 20 times the
Yeah,
revenue,
yeah.
or at least 10 times. So I'm seeing MaaxMarket worth $200 million in about 2 to 3 years from today, and a company that is happily growing and trying to set up a new trend or a new culture in work or office environment that has never been dared or attempted before. And I myself, I'm a personality that I don't mind trying and introducing completely new concepts which other companies wouldn't
Hmm.
even dare. That's my personality, because I feel that life is short. It's just 60 years on an average, and I'm 29 right now. Almost half is
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
Just remaining 30. Just 30 years is remaining. I don't know what I'm going to do with the next 30 years. I have to do something that will make people remember me for a long time.
Excellent. Now moving on, we come to the part of the show which is a quick fire round. Okay. Simple, brief
Mhm.
answers. Uh, so when people ask you what do you do, how do you answer that?
I create intelligence. I create more myself into the products.
Okay.
So I create myself.
When you think of the word successful, who is the first person that comes to mind?
Um, I would say Buddha.
Okay. What do you excel at that people might not realize?
I excel at creating products very rapidly, or creating processes very rapidly.
Okay. And what is something that you believe in that other people think is insane?
Um, I believe that the life that we are all living, that everyone is enjoying today, is a hologram. It's just a virtual reality, and other people think I'm insane.
Okay. Finally, one last thought or piece of advice that you would like to give our listeners.
Yes, I think the biggest piece of advice I would give is, please, as a society, help encourage entrepreneurs, fellow entrepreneurs who are trying to build something and follow their heart, and trying to create something beautiful and interesting, rather than encouraging everyone to go to work,
Hmm.
because that's how, as a nation ourselves, we are trying to create more and more workers, which is great, but it is not great for the society. We need manufacturing brought into India. We need to create products that we have to go and sell
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
markets outside. That requires a lot of entrepreneurs, and though we don't create entrepreneurs, let's not try and stop people who want to be entrepreneurs. Let's try and encourage them, and try to see how we can
Yeah.
support them rather than trying to demotivate them.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship is great, and that is what is required for the economy as well.
Okay. And please let our listeners know how they can reach you and also Max Market.
Yes, they could reach me from our website, maxmarket.com, MaaxMarket.com, or they could also reach me personally on my email ID, which is my first name, Lenin, Lenin, at MaaxMarket.com, MaaxMarket.com.
All right. Again, Lenin, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures. And all the very best with building and scaling MaaxMarket.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Rajiv. I really appreciate it. And this is a great service.
Do visit MaaxMarket.com and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes. And please subscribe to our show in iTunes, TuneIn, and Stitcher, and leave a review on your thoughts about this show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. Our hope is that you are encouraged by what you've heard, and you can put these same concepts and mindsets to use with your own style. See you next time as we discover more about what it takes to be an accomplished entrepreneur. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.